Hello. Now, I want us to look at how to graph simple inequalities with one variable on a number line. Now, let us take an example of this inequality. X is greater than 2. Now, first, it's important to understand what we mean when we say X is greater than 2. Remember, X here is an unknown or a variable. Now, if the value of X is greater than 2, it means that X can take the values, or rather X can take all values that are more than 2. This means that X can take the value 3, 4, 5, 10, 120, 1,000, 1 million, and so on. Or X can take the values in between, that is 2.5, 2.001, etc. So how then do you represent this situation on a number line? So first, you need to locate where the number 2 is on the number line. Then, because values of X are greater than 2, then you draw an open circle at 2. Then shade all points to the right of 2. And you may put an arrow there to indicate that the shading continues. Now, let's take another example. Suppose we are told that X is greater than -3. How do you represent this on a number line? Now, to represent this situation on a number line, we start by locating where -3 is. Now, since X is strictly greater than -3, it means the point -3 is not included. So we draw an open circle at -3. Then, since the values of X are greater than -3, then we shade all points to the right of -3. And as I said, we can put an arrow to indicate that the shading continues. Let's look at the third example. X is less than or equal to 4. So how do you represent X is less than or equal to 4 on a number line? So we will start by finding where 4 is, or locating 4. And 4, we can see that this is the point 4 on the number line. Then, because X is less than or equal to 4, it means X can take the value 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, and so on. But X can also take the value 4 because of the equal sign. So to graph that on the number line, we'll start by drawing a closed circle. Then we shade all points to the left of 4. Then finally, suppose we have X is greater than or equal to -1. How do you represent that on a number line? Now, to represent this on a number line, we find where -1 is, and because X is greater than or equal to -1, it means -1 is part of the solution. So we'll draw a closed circle at -1. Then, since X can be greater or equal to -1, it means we shade all points to the right of -1. Hello. Let's look at how to solve simple inequalities with one variable and graph their solutions on a number line. And we look at a few examples. So we can say examples. Solve the following linear inequalities and represent their solutions on a number line. Now, number one, we have x minus 3 is greater than minus 2. Number 2, 4 plus 2x is less than 8. Number 3, 3x plus 2 is less than or equal to 14. Number 4, 10 minus 5x is less than or equal to 20. So, how do you solve each of these inequalities? So we'll start by solving the first one. So solution to number 1. Now we have x minus 3 is greater than minus 2. So here we will need to look for a way of isolating x in the inequality. And if we have to have x on one side, then we must think of how to get rid of minus 3 on the left hand side. To do that, we add 3 to both sides of the inequality. So x minus 3 is greater than minus 2. So we'll add 3 to the left hand side, add 3 to the right hand side. So we're going to have x is greater than minus 2 plus 3, which is 1. So how then do we represent this on a number line? So to represent this solution on a number line, we will draw our number line. Okay. Then locate 1, and since x is strictly greater than 1, then we will draw an open circle at 1 and shade all points to the right of 1, since x is greater than 1. Now, second example, 4 plus 2x is less than 8. So how do we go about this? Again, our objective or our goal is to have x on one side. So to do this, we have to think of how to eliminate both 4 and 2 on the left hand side. Now, to get rid of 4, we subtract 4 from both sides, so we'll have 2x is less than 8 minus 4. That means 2x is less than 4. Now, to get rid of this 2 here, we divide both sides by 2. So divide this side by 2 by 2. So we have x is less than 2. So how do we present this on a number line? Again, we will draw a number line there. Okay. Then we have, now x here is less than 2. So we locate 2. And since x is not equal to 2, we draw an open circle and shade all points to the left of 2, because the values of x as less than 2. Now, next, let's look at how to solve number 3. That is 3x plus 2 is less than or equal to 14. Now, so how do you go about this? Now, as I said earlier, the objective here should be to look for a way of isolating x. So to get x, we start by subtracting 2 from both sides. So 3x plus 2 minus 2 is less than or equal to 14 minus 2. That is 3x is less than or equal to 12. Now, if you divide 3 by both sides, then you'll have x is less than or equal to 12 over 3, which is less than or equal to 4. So that will be your solution. So how do you represent this solution on a number line? Again, we'll draw a number line here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you'll have -1, -2, -3. Now x is less than or equal to 4. So like we did in the previous examples, we will draw a closed circle at 4. Then because x is less or equal to 4, then we will shade all points to the left of 4, like that. So that would be our solution. Now let's look at number 4. In number 4, we are given that 10 minus 5x is less than or equal to 20. So how do you go about this? So to solve this, we need to start by eliminating 10. And to do this, we subtract 10 from both sides. So we'll have 5 minus 5x is less than or equal to 20 minus 10, which is less or equal to 10. So that means minus 5x is less than or equal to 10. Now, if you divide both sides by minus 5, something very interesting happens. You know, the, the, the inequality sign reverses, so that you have minus 5, so that your x is greater than or equal to minus 2. So that will be the solution. So to graph this solution on a number line, we first start by drawing a number line there. Okay. Then, since x is greater than or equal to minus 2, we draw a closed circle at 2, then shade all points to the right of 2. And that will be your solution. So I want to summarize this lesson by saying that when dealing with inequalities, when you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a positive number, the sign remains unchanged. But when you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, the direction of the inequality sign changes. For example, if you have 2x is greater than 6 and you want to get x, you want to find x, then you will divide both sides by positive 2, so that your x is greater than 3. So in this case, the sign does not change. The same thing happens if you have a third x is less than or equal to 12. To get x here, you need to multiply both sides by positive 3, so that x is less than or equal to 36. So also in this case, the inequality sign does not change. But the moment you have minus 3x is greater than 15, and you want to solve for x, here you will have to divide both sides by minus 3. And since you are dividing by a negative number, the direction of the inequality sign will reverse, so that you have x is less than minus 5 as your final answer. The same thing happens if you have a situation like this, minus a half x is less than or equal to 4. Here, for you to get x, you must multiply both sides by minus 2. So when this happens, the 2 and 2 will cancel, the minus and minus will cancel, so that you have x is greater than or equal to minus 8. You can see the direction of the inequality sign is reversing, because you have multiplied by a negative number, just the same way it reversed here, because you divided both sides by a negative number. So let me give you an assignment. Okay. I want you to solve the following inequalities, and and represents their solutions on a number line. Number 1, 4x minus 5 is greater than 7. Number 2, 2x plus 6 is less than minus 2. Number 3, 3 minus 5x is less than or equal to minus 22. Number 4, 2 over 5 minus a third x is greater than or equal to 11 over 15. Now, number 5, 3.5y minus 4 is greater than minus 6.5 plus 3y. Number 6, 5 minus 32t is greater than or equal to 20 plus 4t, everything divided by 3. So can you solve those problems and then let me have the solutions?